Hi, this is a Thermomix recipe. It's on the cookie dough platform. It's sun-dried tomato tear and share bread. It is absolutely delicious. It's one of the recipes that we as independent Thermomix advisors use to demonstrate how the Thermomix's kneading function works. It's brilliant. Anyway, find it on cookie dough and I'm going to start cooking. I've already set the oven at 50 degrees, and the reason for this is to help the bread rolls rise quicker. I'm then going to grease a large tray. I've done that, and I've actually greased a bit of cling film as well to cover. I've put in 220 grams of water. I weighed it in. I've put in a teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to add the yeast now. It says 8 grams, so I'm just going to make sure it's 0. That's 3 grams. Six, 7, 8. It's done. Okay, and the reason I'm recording this, by the way, is because I'm running out of flour and I want to make sure I've got a record so that if I ever have to show anybody, it's here. Next, I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to, I don't need the measuring cup really because it's not going to shush out, but what we're doing here, you can set the temperature if you want to 37 degrees to ensure that the yeast is activated at the right temperature. The optimum temperature for yeast is 37 degrees. It dies at 50 and beyond 50 degrees, and it also dies if you put salt in it, so never put salt directly onto yeast, and it lives with sugar and the right temperature. Anyway, this is just giving it a stir. It hasn't actually hit 37 degrees, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to put it in a cool oven to prove. I'm then going to press next and put my 500 grams of flour in. There we go, 500 grams of flour. And then, so I'm going to add my 90 grams of sun-dried tomatoes in oil. Actually, I've got another lot in here that I want to finish off first. Put these in first. That's 73. I think I probably need one more tomato from here. 2 more. That'll do, 88. And next, 30 grams of olive oil. I'm just going to use the olive oil from the bottle. Okay, a little bit over, but it doesn't matter. And a teaspoon of salt, which I've got here. That goes in. Remember, the salt goes on top of the flour, so it's not touching the yeast because it would kill it straight away. Okay, and then I'm putting on the lid, the measuring cup, and what happens here is it goes straight to the kneading function, but I'm going to teach you a little tip which also shows you how you can come out of a recipe and go back in. There's a little logo here of a house. If you press that, it bookmarks the recipe, and the reason I've come out of it, not gone straight to knead, is I like to just give it a little stir on speed 2 so that the flour doesn't jump up onto the lid, because I hate having to clean the lid. Okay, and now I can, so you can have a look. I can see it sort of bound, so I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go back to the bookmark, the green bookmark, and now I'm back in my recipe. And it's set on the kneading function, and what happens with the kneading function is it automatically takes the blade to 5 times one way, 1 time in reverse, and it mimics hand kneading. If you need 10 minutes kneading by hand, this does it in 2 minutes. So I'm going to show you, and it also very beneficially also chops up your sun-dried tomatoes, so you don't have to bother doing that. So all you do is get the kneading function and turn the button, and it goes automatically and does its own thing. And the one thing you want to know is you never leave a Thermomix on its own when it's kneading, because it does wobble, and if it's too close to the edge it might drop off. And the other time you don't leave your Thermomix at home is when you're chopping lots of heavy duty vegetables. So the Thermomix has now finished kneading, and this is what you have. Wonderful bread dough. And here's a little tip. I don't know, I think I'm going to move the Thermomix so you can see. Lift this. Remember, always lift to shift your Thermomix. Don't drag it because the scales are on the feet. Now, I've greased this tray and very, very lightly, and I've also just put a piece of cling film on top in order to grease the bottom of the cling film as well, because I'm going to cover it with that. And here's a good tip for taking bread dough out. You turn it upside down and you wiggle the blade like so, and you'll find it all comes out quite cleanly. And one further tip is, if you've got any residue left, I don't have much, but I'm just going to show you anyway. I'm going to put the bookmark on and show you. You can go to speed 10 and give it a whirl. And you will find that it's all come off to the sides. And then you pick up a piece of dough and you pick it all up to tidy it up. So that's a good little tip. You can also do the same thing on turbo if you want to whip the stuff off. You can do it for cake batter as well. Whiz it all up to the sides and it's easier to clean. So that can go off to the sink now because we're done with it. And what we're going to do now is knead. You don't need to knead, sorry. All you're going to do now is to make bread rolls. I am a very impatient cook, and I'm just going to make very, very rustic rolls. Nothing special. You can do a better job. And it says, I think it says 8 rolls, but 8 is too big for us, really. So I make 16. Actually, no, today I'm going to make 8 because I'm going to make kebabs and we can have them as burgers in the sun-dried tomato rolls. It'd be quite nice. So, and then I'll freeze the other 4. So here we go. I'm going to roll it into little balls. So that's the last one. I'm putting them all together. Where can you see me? Yes. And I'm going to cover it with the slightly, very, very lightly greased side of the cling film down, and put them in my 50-degree oven just to let it proof quicker. You can leave it out and it'll do the same if it's a nice warm day. So these are my rolls 20 minutes after they've been in a 50-degree oven. I've taken them out. I've increased the temperature of the oven to 180 degrees. And once it hits 180 degrees, I'll put these back in there to bake for 20 minutes, 18 to 20 minutes. As soon as they sound hollow underneath, they're done. And the recipe on Cookie Do calls for an egg wash. I don't do that. But it does add a lovely gloss to the rolls. I just sprinkle the rolls with water and stick them in the oven. And here they are, the tear and share rolls. Already beautiful, beautiful bread.